The world we once knew has been lost to shadow. Was it thunder and fire and brimstone? Drowned in flood and rain? Was it tragic decadence? A great fall? Unspeakable corruption? Or did the awakening of magic destroy our world? No one knows for certain. Reach through the shadowy mists. Find a fragment of land infested with shadowy corruption, yet lit enough to find your way. Find a creature of light, a synth. They are friendly and willing to guide you. Perhaps the two of you can find other survivors. Perhaps this land can serve as a shelter. Perhaps together you can build a sort of haven. Forge friendships to save the world.
Hello, and welcome to the Unleashed Games weekly playtest, where you join us as we playtest our game Haven live, and we learn things, we sometimes break things, and we get amazing feedback every single week from some incredible gaming professionals around the industry. And I cannot wait to bring on our guest today. But first, I'd like to actually thank the incredible team that, under this very low funding environment and this challenging place, like we're all working for free right now, my team just keeps kicking major butt and helping out, keeping this stream alive, helping us with our fundraising efforts, and all the things that we need to do to be able to keep Unleashed going until we can find our next tranche of funding. And that's actually where a lot of our focus has been, because we really, really want to be able to build Haven and bring it to all of you. So if this is your first time joining us, thank you for joining us and welcome. Please join us every week on Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And we have new guests every week, and sometimes we show off games. Sometimes we have like really, really cool, like surprise, like game development legends. And this is really the place to be to spend your Friday afternoon or late morning. But then while you're at it, could you please like and subscribe so that you can get notified of every time we do go live, to get reminded, because it helps us out. It helps us with that, pesky algorithm thing that we need to drive and feed. And we love your support, because that's the best way y'all can support us. And those of you who are here again, we have some of our great friends. I saw Imaginary Heroes in there. I saw Wishful Hobbyist in there. That was hello, everybody. Pagnus, thank you so much for coming, as you do every single week. We really, really appreciate your support, and the fact that you bring friends. I can't say enough how much I appreciate y'all. Okay, so really quick, Unleashed Games updates. So, Tozeb, you're here too. Sorry, I got excited. Hi. Great to see you. All right. Back to business. Okay. Breathing. Okay. So Unleashed Games updates. Number one. So about 2 weeks ago, the legendary editor of Games Beat, which is a subprint of Venture Beat magazine, which is the #1 investment rag for the games industry, and also investment rag for Venture Beat, games industry is GamesBeat. But Dean Takahashi wrote his weekly blog, The Dean Beat, about us. Legit about us. Like, how cool is that? We're going to try to get that. I'll get that link into chat so y'all can check out the incredible, incredible piece that he wrote. But he also called out some of our efforts on trying to revive Kingdoms of Amalur, the MMO piece of our history, some of our co-founders' history, and also Tozeb, who we connected over our deep love of Amalur. Hashtag revive Amalur. We'll make that happen. I know. But more importantly, this article actually details out some of our plans around our realms engine, what we call Unleashed Realms. And there's really this concept that we've had for a while, but we haven't really talked about because we wanted to build Haven and prove it. But please do read the article. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but we have this idea of where we want to actually create kind of a multiverse of fantasy realms that you can hop in between. And that's something that we've been building Haven specifically to be able to support. But every single realm that we are going to build will have that classic Haven style gameplay where it's, multi-class combat, and we'll have, a survival crafting loop involved. You can build stuff, then you can go and craft stuff after you go exploring to get those resources, but in different worlds. Haven is just the first. So we can talk about that more in a little bit later, but there's been some additional press that's come out around this. Massively OP just did an article about us, which I'm so grateful for. Like, people are catching on, and it's catching interest. And then I recently had a conversation last week with the Powell Group on the Indie Games podcast about old school MMOs, or just like bringing MMOs to the modern audience. And as a quick follow-up, Wagner James, he is a futurist, a blogger, writer, games journalist. He did an interview with me and just published it this week, specifically on some of our perspectives around social games and MMOs, and why specifically we think modern MMOs don't hit the mark because of how they approach content, how they approach gameplay, and even particularly how they approach storytelling. And this is what gets us to our guest. So we'll get the link to the article posted in the comments so that you can check it out. But first, we're going to talk to our amazing guest. I'd like to welcome award-nominated fantasy author, author of the series Chorus of Dragons, and also let's go look at this list of. Okay, first of all, Chorus of Dragons, love it. I'm obsessed with dragons. But also recently published a book called The Sky on Fire. That's her latest novel, published by Tor Books. This is a legitimate publishing company. She is not just a self-published Amazon author. She is published and absolutely incredible. I'd love to welcome to the stage Jenn. Could you please join us?
My pleasure to do so. Hi, how are you doing today?
Oh my goodness. I was moving yesterday and the day before. I am covered in bruises and had about 3 hours of sleep. But I am so excited to be here. I've been stoked for this conversation all week long.
Well, as have I. So I am thrilled to be here. I'm really, really interested in seeing what you guys are up to. So I'm excited about this. This is going to be great.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was excited also for you to talk about the storytelling stuff, because obviously that is in my wheelhouse.
Absolutely. And I love that you write high fantasy novels, which are a particular love of mine. Can you tell us a little bit more? Can you give us a high level overview of the world that you built for A Chorus of Dragons?
Well, so A Chorus of Dragons is one of those very nerdy works of a lifetime, right? I started doing the world building for it when I was still a teenager, and the probably 30 plus years of work went into the background, and so it's got conlangs, it's got maps, it has, you know, just more information that could actually ever appear in the series. And it's been something that has been a thing I originally started developing out of love. You know, I was never intending that this was going to be something that I didn't think it was possible that it was going to be something that I would be able to share with people. You know, I think I was probably more surprised when anyone else was when I got the book deal with Tor to actually do it. And
How
it's
did you
just been.
get that, by the way? Like, what did you do to be able to like get Tor to say like, yes, we're signing you, other than obviously being awesome?
I mean, you know, hard work obviously is a big part of it. But you know, a lot of it's just luck. I got very, very lucky. I have an agent who really believes in me, which get you one of those. That's important. And he was just, he sold it. He went around to the different companies, and they actually, he didn't just sell it. They had a bidding war over it. Right. So it was not just Tor, it was Tor and most of the big publishers coming in and saying, we want to do this. Tor was just the guys that came in with, Tor were the guys that said, yes, we'll let you have 5 books, and yes, we'll let you keep the footnotes. The book has footnotes. It's a thing.
Is it because of your like background in mythology and whatnot?
It's because
Wild guess
yeah, no, actually. So the part of the framing device for the story is that the books themselves exist within the story. So they're actually, the books have been pulled together and written within the world itself. And so as I was finishing up the first book, I realized that there was no way that the guy who was, you know, doing this, the official writer of the book, who was a nerd, that he wouldn't, you know, annotate. He wouldn't put in his opinions on different things. So you have,
that's kind of cool though.
Yeah. So you have little bits like the point of view character making a statement and him coming in and saying, this is wrong. This just.
But what a really cool literary device that you used to kind of create a sense of like brain narrative to feed back into the action.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do. And it actually was very powerful in a lot of ways, because it did allow me to, you know, pull in these moments and have a better control over like pacing and flow that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So obviously it's not something I am going to do for every book I write. Sky on Fire, no footnotes, but but for this series, it was the perfect thing for it.
Amazing. How do you think about world building then? Because this is kind of a segue into what we want to talk about. Because one of my core pieces of feedback about MMOs or just games in general is that leaning into like driving story, including like action that tells a very specific story of specific characters, can actually be distracting from a game that is intended to be social. And I was wondering like what your thoughts are on like what games that you know of tell stories and world build really, really well, and which ones don't.
Well, I mean, I think that you run the risk in a situation like this where people just want to get to the next challenge, which there's nothing wrong with that. Certainly, when I'm playing with my husband and my friends, we're there to talk to each other. You know, most of the time we're there to, you know, figure out stuff, but we're usually speeding through the conversations that are occurring, and I will admit to that. So, you know, I'm definitely a big fan of some MMOs that have had really strong story. You know, I've always been a huge fan of all of the Elder Scroll stuff. because,
Same.
you know, yeah, very, very strong story to all of those. But I think one of the things that I particularly like about, say, something like, I'm going to go all the way back to Morrowind, right?
Hmm.
You could get through that entire game wonderfully without doing a deep dive into the story, right? It wasn't necessary. It was icing. It was this extra wonderful bit of richness that you could go into and pull into it. But if you didn't, it was still fine.
Yeah, like Morrowind, even like Oblivion, Skyrim feels like it's a little bit more on rails. But like I lean back into Oblivion and how open-ended that world was, and I intentionally avoided the main storyline so that I could explore and
Same.
like get really high level so that I'd be OP so that when I hit the bosses I could just squash them rather than, struggle too much. But like the worlds were alive, and that's
Right.
where I think story can shine. What MMOs have you played, by the way? What are
Oh
your favorite?
gosh. I mean, there's a I'm going to say a really weird one that I've been playing a lot recently, but
Oh,
Conan Exiles. I
no
just
way.
really love their building system.
That's interesting.
I
Well, I
love
would.
their building system. I don't necessarily love some of the I'm not in that game for the story. I'm in that
Mhm.
game for building pretty towns and pretty houses. Um
That's actually a really, really interesting point, and I'd love your feedback on how. I mean, let's be honest, like our building system is not to like production value or where we want to be, but I'm really looking forward to, and this is the other really cool part, friends, about Jenn, is that Jenn has offered her help to like us and is joining on to help us develop Haven. And though Jenn is like offered to help in a production way, because she's also a game, like a producer within game development, like she's a badass, friends. But I'm like, wait, you're a published fantasy author. Like, I think you could help us round out this world and continue to develop it, or even give feedback on how we're world building. So thank you so much. um but I'd really love your thoughts on our building system specifically, and where ways that you'd want to take it, because we have all sorts of opinions on what the best UX is for building, but that's one of the things I really want to get right.
Yeah, I think, games that have a good building system, it really does lend a certain richness to it. Amongst other things, because you definitely get people who find it soothing and just want to do that for an evening. Not everybody wants to go in and, look, killing monsters has its place, and I certainly enjoy it as much as the next person. But sometimes I just want to build a pretty house.
Yes,
Yeah.
legit. And we have a comment here from MC Delia about EverQuest, because did you play EverQuest, by the way?
I did not, which I feel weird about admitting to, but I'm
It's
gonna I'm
okay.
gonna
It's
be
okay. No
honest.
judgment. No
Yeah.
judgment here. I mean,
Um,
I'm a little sad, but at the same time, but the benefits of EverQuest, just like MC Delia says, is that the dialogue was more like you would type in chat, like you were playing to or communicating with other players. So it kind of created this sense of equanimity between an NPC and a player character,
right, right,
right? And like you would type in and have to like know the phrases or have a conversation to trigger the right end result. But also in EverQuest, the world like lived on. Like characters moved around. Sometimes a character wasn't where you expected it to be. Like when it became night, some characters disappeared. You'd have to wait till the morning till they showed up.
right.
Like they seemed to have their own lives. And that was what, like, Morrowind was like that too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a little. I mean, there were definitely responses, right? So there definitely were responses that you clicked through, but at the same time, there were all of these. A lot of the lore was not in your face, and it wasn't again, it was all optional. You know, you didn't
Well,
have
you
to.
discovered it
Yeah.
as you
And
went through, rather than it being like, click on this exclamation point NPC and it's going to tell you everything you need to know.
right. Which, and I will acknowledge, I have friends that absolutely hated Morrowind for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
Right. So I also get that that is not everyone's cup of tea. You know, there's going to be people that are just like, please just point me to where I need to go, and that's it. But I think you can make a happy medium, right? You can have a game where what you need to do is really obvious, but at the same time, you can explore and go off and do your own things. You know, and in Morrowind, and in a lot of Elder Scrolls games, you know, but Morrowind, it was the first one I played, so it's to some extent it's always going to stick with you. But I always loved the fact that you could go wander into a dungeon that you were in no way prepared to deal with, right? Like, I loved the fact that you could wander into places that you weren't ready for, that you weren't ready for. And it had that sense of genuine, like, exploration to it that, that sometimes, like you said, sometimes the games feel a little on rails. And that can be, you know, I suppose comforting to know that, you know, here's where I have to go. But I do like the exploring.
Well, speaking of which, do you want to go explore and see what we can find out in the dark forest with me?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, right. All right. I'm creating a new character. If I can figure out a name. I'm
going with something remarkably unoriginal, but that's okay.
You know what? You do you, boo-boo. Hey, dragon girl. Oh, I love it. That's the thing that, like, I am so jazzed for, is getting dragons into our game.
Oh, good. Because you cannot have that. That is one of the best logos I've seen, like, ever. I love it so much. So you have to have dragons.
Oh, well, yeah, I actually have this. So some of our, like, gameplay worlds, or like the zones, will be like custom scenarios and like unique places that'll be designed by game designers, and they'll have deep story. But one of them, I want to create a in a mountain range lake that is a home of dragons, and like a nest of, like, a huge dragonopolis. I don't know what we would call it. Maybe you will have some great ideas. But the idea that you could go into, like, the world of dragons, but randomly get in there, like, you'd have to be very lucky to be able to get to that particular zone. And then maybe, who knows, maybe you can get a pet dragon from there. Oh, hey, we have a friend.
Hello.
We have a friend.
Hello.
Anyway, I'll stop pontificating about dragons and come and find you guys, because we got stuff to do. We got stuff to do, friends.
I'm just wandering around, like, clicking on stuff, which, you know.
Click on all the things. All the things.
Yep.
Oh. There you are. I'm going to see if I can travel to you.
Lots of chopping down trees.
Well, it's a survival crafting game. What do you expect?
That's what I expect. That's exactly what I expect.
We're just meeting expectations, at least to start.
Well, you know, so far so good. I haven't, you know, found anything that was, like, confusing or weird. You touch stuff, you interact with it. Hello. It's really obvious. It's cool. Actually, I should probably check out what I can do, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. Good taunt. All right.
Welcome back, Frank. What do you got? You've got extinguish. But those are all your, like, battle spells. Yeah. Then position number 6 is a buff.
Yeah.
And so this actually might be a good time for us to all buff each other. I could buff you. Whew, now
interesting.
I have if you mouse over up at the top of the screen, you'll see tooltips as to what each buff does.
Okay.
And I'm gonna buff Frank and dance. Look at all of us getting more powerful by the second. But hey, I want you to come and build a house.
All
So
right.
or
Let's
actually you can
see.
build right here.
Yeah, build a house.
Oh. So our system is pretty simple. Drops a foundation and then you can double click on it and it'll open
Yeah.
up a little, like almost like a container. Oh, there you go.
Add some wood to it.
As one does. You need wood to build a stone house, don't you
Right.
know?
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Of course.
Absolutely. Completely logical. Wow, words are hard today. 3 hours of sleep, my friends, and moving. Who's to know what's going to come out of my mouth?
It's very impressive, actually. I'd be dead on my feet. So respect.
I'm just grateful that I'm sitting. That's all I'm saying. And that I can rely on just the automation of clicking on the house to actually build it, that I don't have to do anything physically myself. Hey, yay! We
All
built a
right.
house.
Very cool.
All right. So the reason why I wanted us to build a house and you to build a house, is so that you can see kind of the beginnings of our customization system.
All
And
right.
so these are kind of just the basic functionality that we've installed, nothing beyond that. But you can select objects and you can clone them and you can make your house as big as you want, as long as you place your walls in a position that is legal.
Interesting. So if it's green, I can do it.
Yes, you should be able to.
Oh,
So try hit the
it
place
did.
button. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I saw
You
that.
found a bug.
I did. This.
All right. So let's describe it so our AI system can make us a JIRA ticket. So when she selected two objects and hit the place button, those two objects combined into one. And we need a bug to be able to replicate the actual appropriate position of those two game objects and render them correctly. But apparently you can only do one at a time. Oh, actually now you're doing kind of two at a time in its own way.
Yeah, and it also won't let me. Let me see if I can move this one to the side and let it.
Hey, thanks for tracking our bug. This is a good one.
Oh, interesting. So.
And you can grab any piece. You can grab like the roof line and you can extend out your house. You can make some holes in the wall.
Well, so for example, can you see this wall that's in front of Frank?
No, actually.
The door he's standing right next to?
Yeah, no, I do not. Let me see. I'm going to destroy a wall in your house. So sorry.
That's okay.
Do you see the hole? Oh, you
I do
see the hole that I made.
I do. Yeah. But so I'm standing right in front of a door and a wall that didn't go, like it copied. So this was the piece I moved.
Uh-huh.
But it left behind this copy of itself. It left behind this echo. And it's got collision to me. I can't move through it.
Interesting.
Frank can move through it, I think. Seems like he can.
I wonder if Frank can actually see it.
Yeah. So this is interesting.
So I'm about to place a wall. And let's see if you can see it when I place it. I'm just trying to get it parallel. Okay, placing it. Just testing. Oh, and you don't see the wall that I placed.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Oh, we have a server bug.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, hey, thanks for helping us find some bugs in the building system.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. I suspect I'm going to stop because I suspect I could, really go full QA on this
Troubleshoot
if I wanted to. Yeah.
for way too long. I
Yep.
feel you.
Yep. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Whoa. Just drop it. See what happens.
That's not right.
And so 2 out of those 3 are visible. Let me turn around.
Yep.
And I see none.
And keep in mind, I only moved one wall. So
that is so weird.
Okay, well, yep. But I mean, it's game in development. These things happen.
This is a prototype.
Yep.
I mean, but this is the type of stuff we see when we're developing a game. Like, games are pretty broken.
Oh yeah.
But games are pretty broken as you develop them, and it's not until they're live that they're like polished and less buggy. Hopefully, if you've had a really good development process with great QA and issue capture, important. But as we all know, you can take the author out of QA, but you can never take the QA out of the author.
It's true. Facts. Facts.
Hey, and Jen, you're a magician when it comes to building. You make things appear and disappear.
Yep. Ignore the fact that I'm playing a fighter. I'm not. I'm playing a building wizard.
Yes, you are. Well, let's see if you can see this other object. I am going to. Oh, I can't build here. Let's go over to over to the purple beacon here in the center of town. Let's see. Can we build something more interesting here? Do you see anything new that you can build?
Let me look. Arcane Mill. That's new.
So yeah, that's part of our design is you can, there's a kind of a center of town where everybody can build. And that's where you build your shared buildings, like your town halls, maybe a blacksmith, a building that would be useful for everybody to have access to. I mean, you can have those things in your house or like the crafting bench, obviously. But oh, yay, laid down the foundation. Let's see if we can help you build this.
Okay.
I can add some wood. I'm sure you have wood too, though. We got to find some, I think the next thing that you need is some clay and rock. Oh, we've already got it. Let's do this.
Yep. I had clay and rock.
Very good. Oh, because you did a lot of like that gathering. Very well.
I mean, it's instinct,
Yes.
Into a game, start gathering.
Well, it's what we like to see.
All right. More things.
So this is
draft.
Our World of Warcraft style quest giver.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Sorry, it works for now for the prototype.
Yeah. Okay. Find out what happened in the Black Path. Kill Shadow Wolf. Wolves.
Well, yeah, we got
all right.
Poor grammar.
That's okay. That'll also get a pass.
Please.
Very cool.
So yeah, what questions?
Oh no. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, so where do we find Shadow Wolves?
That's a very good question. Yeah, but what I wanted you to see was over here, there's a crafting table here on the Arcane Mill.
Oh, there is, yeah. Oh, okay. Very cool. Well, I do not have enough stuff to do with this yet, so.
Well, you can see what sort of stuff that you need
to
be able to construct this stuff. The stuff and things.
Yeah. Because, the eternal quest, better armor, better weapons.
That's the thing. That's what makes these games so fun, actually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we clearly cannot get all of these things here. But what we can do is we can go over here and click on this purple beacon, and we could teleport to Adventureland, which may actually have the items you seek. Shall we?
Yep, done.
Let's do it. OTW.
All right.
Where are we? Where are we?
A shadowy place.
We are in what we call the dark forest.
Oh. Well done. Very well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you. I can't do a cricket noise though. I need a little noisemaker for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the world of Haven, reality has been shattered by chaotic magic, and you're attacking a kraken root.
I am.
I don't want you to... Don't die, please.
No, it's fine. It's dead.
Good. All right. I'll buff you. But the world has been shattered by chaotic magic, and it's up to humans to piece the world back together again. But the only way that you can piece it back together again is to explore these nether realms that can only be accessed through the magic of the dark forest.
Ah, okay. I see.
Also you get cool rocks and sticks.
Yeah, which, I mean, who doesn't want those?
As one does. But we came up with like a narrative for our demo experience. And the way that we executed on it. Oops. Is that we just filled the world with the right characters. For now.
Enchanted bark. Oh,
Mm.
Frank's still killing stuff. We gotta help. Nope, Frank's not killing stuff. It's dead.
It's looting stuff.
Yeah.
Which way, friends? So we really don't know why the forest is dark, but it just is.
Something over there looks kind of glowy. Is that just the lighting? I think that's just the lighting.
It may be, but I'm actually going to...
Oh, no, it's because I can pick something. That's why. Cotton fiber. Oh, I need that.
Yes, you do. I see some wolves.
Okay, let's go kill wolves.
Poor puppies. Did we get credit?
I think so.
Oh, we did.
Okay.
Cool. You got some wolves. Did they have any cool loot?
It looks like they should have had loot, but nothing's coming up.
Oh.
So
did Frank and Healy J get all the loot?
Well, but it still has the slots for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very interesting. It might be that they got it, but it didn't gracefully remove what was there, right?
Got you.
Yeah,
Like
it looks like that's probably not a bug. It looks like that's just how it looks.
It's an empty feature.
Yeah, it's an empty slot. But because there's two, like if there were two pieces of treasure, you get two empty slots. It does end up feeling like there should have been something there.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I'm just making animal noises to pretend to be the wolf. It's dead. Oh, nice one. Oh, it looks like Frank said he took all the loot.
That's okay. That's all good. Like I said, it wasn't that you took it. It was that it felt like something was wrong. Which
okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like we need to put in some logic on loot that if there's nothing on the creature, then maybe we take away the sparkle, and also you can't even get a loot window.
Yeah. That would be good, I think.
Well, I'm gonna get this rock over here, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this whole zone,
Come here.
this zone is generated. This is not like crafted by a human. This is like a server instance that's spun up, and it is custom crafted for us.
Okay. That's
And
cool.
it's going to be different. It's different every single time you come
Right.
in.
Which makes sense. It's all good.
We're taking the idea of like the Diablo style rifts, but taking it one step further.
Got it.
Because it makes the whole, like, you can have, unique forest zones, but they can feel like all part of a bigger and more giant dark forest.
Right.
But the story arc for this particular demo adventure was written by our narrative designer, Angela Hannah Gulen. She's an incredible like children's television series writer. She's also, published a couple of books. And she actually just recently she's built a game called the Sock Dating Simulator. Which, yeah,
That's
she's absolutely
amazing.
hilarious.
That's amazing.
She really is. But the cool part is that we have a lot of love of ancient mythology on the team. And so we wanted Haven to be kind of a portal into the mythologies of the world. So as we were developing our story and developing our IP, we decided that we wanted our magic system to be primarily elemental. That was a decision by Chris Searhut.
Okay.
But then we were like, how do we tie in, elemental magic to mythologies? And one of the ways is that we include elements like light and shadow, like light and absence of light as elements. And there is an ancient culture that had a deep reverence for shadow and shadow magic, and the concepts therein, like underworld magic, and that's the Egyptian culture. And this was actually Angela's inspiration, diving into building out the storyline and why Kabalmat is named what he is. I believe Kabalmat is the name of an Egyptian demigod of the underworld, but he's kind of a deputy of folks like Isis and Osiris.
Right. Right.
But the goal is for players to eventually encounter, these Egyptian gods, but after deeper exploration and deeper adventuring, maybe actually going to the underworld. We need more development time and more engineers to do that, though.
So are you going with kind of an APEP style? Sorry, I can get distracted very easily on this. So wait, you said myths?
Yes.
I think Egyptian mythology is really interesting because, amongst other things, it is a lot more diverse than people give it credit for. This was a religion that existed for thousands of years and went through countless permutations. And depending where you were, you could have a completely different set of who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. There are plenty of places in different times in Egyptian history where, Set was not necessarily a bad dude. So it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it creates, I think, especially with a lot of ancient mythologies, there weren't clear lines of like white hat, black hat with the characters. Like, the Greek gods, whether even if you were a quote unquote good person, you still were flawed and would not necessarily have the cleanest history, say. But that was part of the story and part of the character evolution, and it kind of drives a lot of the lessons that come out of mythology. And that's my favorite part, the kind of philosophical lessons that are told with the interactions of the gods and the characters.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a real love of mine.
What is your favorite, like, I don't even know how to refer to it right now because my brain's not working, but like mythology or mythological system?
Oh, well, I mean, it's always a little bit tricky because depending on the line between mythology and active religion can be a little bit thin sometimes.
Yeah,
Um, so
it's a challenge.
yeah, uh, I would talk about the Orisha, but of course that's an active religion. So calling it
Hmm.
mythology is a little bit
Yep.
perhaps not accurate. Uh, but I really do love Egyptian mythology. So it's,
Ooh, well, maybe you can help us develop out some of the storyline or take a look at it. I'd love your feedback.
yeah, no, absolutely. I actually just found out just recently this I was doing a deep dive on Etruscan mythology.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
And
yeah, we can talk that.
I started finding these really wild crossovers between Etruscan mythology and Norse.
Interesting.
And
Oh,
it just kind of occurred to me, it's like, oh, the northern part of Italy isn't really not that far away from Germany, is it? So
no.
yeah,
Well, I think
like
that there was a lot of ancient crossover between, with the Gauls being there, and I'm sure that there was an exchange of ideas and concepts between all the different cultures.
yeah, I mean
In
there's
continental
a
Europe.
Etruscan god of the underworld named Suri, who's the god of death and fire.
Ooh.
And I remember I was reading about him and I was like, that sounds an awful lot like Surtur. It's Surtur. It's Surtur. It's basically Surtur. Um, it's just really
That.
funny. Yeah.
Speaking of which, what's this over here?
Oh, what is this over here besides a cricket and a wolf to kill?
Yes.
Besides
Well,
that,
clearly the NPCs that are keeping us from, getting to that interesting thing.
yeah.
You guys are distracting us. We have stuff to do.
Right?
I have this weird conflict with, our fantasy combat because I don't necessarily want to be killing puppies, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
I like fantasy, like MMO style combat, but I don't want to be killing puppies. So, I don't know how to make those two things work in my head yet.
No, I mean that's valid. It's very valid.
I mean, I don't mind the kraken roots so much because they're, weird octopus style creatures
Hmm.
that are like, I mean, I love octopi, don't get me wrong.
Well,
But
I
this is
don't know what this is, but I can pass right through it.
you can pass right through it. But if you double click on it,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let me try doing that.
interact.
Nope. It does not actually exist
Oh,
for
try clicking
me.
on the tree.
Oh yeah, okay.
Click
That's
on
a
the
good call.
glowy thing.
All right. All right. So teleport to Kabalmat lair, and then I also have like quests, but I'm just gonna complete a couple because I'm here.
Oh, it's a cool little cheat that is not the worst thing in the world, to be able to access your quests from any beacon.
On the other hand, I think it's gonna wait for me to actually actively do it, so I can't do it right now. All right. Shall we go to are we going to go to Kabalmat lair?
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
see who this Kabalmat creature is.
All right, I'm heading there. Oh, he looks unfriendly.
I don't think he's going to invite us over for tea.
Okay. Well,
But you're
let's
the
do
tank,
this.
my friend.
Yep. Running in. I'm running in.
Let's go see what's up.
Hey, buddy. How you
Oh.
doing? How you doing?
I think he's been tapped. Oh, yeah. Look at this. 2 tanks. Last week, we could not take down Kabalmat. We only had 3 of us. So I'm hoping the 4th takes us over the edge.
Well, here's hoping.
It's also not me tanking because I'm a really bad tank. I'm a better mage.
I got to be honest. I'm not a great tank myself. But
but there's 2 of you. So
yeah,
you both can keep him busy while I
figured
do
I would
what I
just
do best.
do something different, you know.
Absolutely. What class do you typically play?
I usually play some sort of spellcaster.
I appreciate that. Relatable. I like being a boomstick.
But sometimes it's also fun to just be able to run in and smash stuff.
Always. Always. Smash that thing with your hammer.
Yeah.
We're so close.
I think we're going to get him.
Very low on mana.
It's okay.
We're
going to get him. We can do this. Come on.
Woo!
Got him. All right.
Yes. Victory is ours.
Woo. Very nice.
Cool loot?
He had silver ore on him.
Just silver ore?
Just silver ore.
Man, Kabalmat's holding out.
There's a shambling over there. What's a shambling?
Oh, well. Let's go shamble over there and see.
Yeah.
So that's a way that you can teach people about your world, right? Is by the way you name your creatures.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting conundrum, the whole naming of things, right? Because you have the temptation to, what if you use a thing that exists in the real world, right? What if you use, that's a thing out of, a lot of the stuff I write is second world mythology, and second world mythology is therefore, not going to have Egyptian mythology or anything like that. So, it's not going to have Greek mythology. But what if I call something a Titan? But I look at it like this. Everything we're doing is using a language that is firmly entrenched in history and place and people. It doesn't matter what language it is. It's true. So anything we do, anything we talk about when we share with language is automatically breaking that rule. So I just look at it as translations. It's all translations.
It's there to give you a context, right?
Right. You use the word Titan because Titan is the best word for it. Even if it is a word that comes out of Greek mythology, right?
Yep. No, that makes sense. And thank you. You made me feel better.
I think about this a lot.
Well, and when we think about building out the mythology for our game, like one of the things that we've used in the past in games like World of Warcraft and in EverQuest is that in the kind of lower level areas you'd get the base creature like the Kraken root, and then you'd get a shadow wolf, right? But then the deeper you go, maybe it's a corrupted Kraken root. But then that word corrupted makes you think that something is corrupting it. It's actually informative in how you name it.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of action without even having a dialogue box that tells you the world has been corrupted.
Right.
And then you can keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and use your environment to help guide and inform. We like to call it, or I like to think of it as like a show don't tell when it comes to mythology.
What is that?
Remember that air horn we told you that we warned you about? That's it.
All right.
That's the air horn.
I
think we have to stop playing, but think we're having way too much fun right now.
I didn't really want to stop playing, but all right.
I mean, we can keep going, but we just have to not be streaming it anymore because our stream is over.
Right.
But we also should totally like get your thoughts. And speaking of which, as we go back home, and maybe you can do some crafting, what did you think of your first playthrough of our Haven demo?
Well, so I think that obviously it's game in development. So with that in mind, I enjoyed the combat flow quite a lot. I thought that, when you play video games, the fact that I could pretty much jump into this with there was a little bit of button mashing that I was doing, but that's pretty normal. But it was still a good flow of when I'm running around to the next thing to fight, if that makes sense. And I enjoyed the interactiveness of it. It was this is not going to be a surprise to you. It has good UI.
And there's so much room for improvement, please. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there wasn't a ton of, I don't know, I can't figure out what to do. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. And I definitely, I think that, I think the art style is adorable. Are we to be able to customize characters?
Yes. These are just character templates. So our starting characters are just like demo stand-ins,
right, to
give us the sense of art style, but the intention is to have like full-on character creation so that you can customize what your character looks like.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't know how many of the people on this project have backgrounds with WoW, I would wonder if y'all have backgrounds with WoW. Because there is definitely that sense of approachability to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the things that made WoW great. Was that there wasn't
the part that I worked on.
Yeah. But I mean, it was always really funny watching all of these different other game companies desperately trying to figure out what the secret was, and I'm just sitting here going, it's because it was a wonderfully approachable game that looked pretty much the same on any system, and you could just dive into it, and that's a great thing. So I really like this.
One of the things that I really wanted to get a feel for in like wandering around our world is that same WoW feel of like feeling like you're a person wandering around a world, not like going from, I mean, WoW actually has some of this, is going from like quest objective to quest objective.
Yes.
But like that,
yes.
But that feeling of wandering around through a zone and like finding stuff to do, like almost like an Easter egg hunt of like, oh, let's go over here. Oh, let's go over here. That kind of open world exploration that you get in Elder Scrolls titles, but with like, the World of Warcraft style, like feel as you're playing through, like so good. Anyway, or like, that's what I feel. I mean, is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, that is very much what I'm talking about. And I think it's just fun. It's fun to do that sort of thing. So
was it fun playing our game?
Yes, it was.
That's a good question that we should put on a survey after each one of these playtests.
Yeah.
Was it fun? Yes, no, because that's a basic check, right?
Yeah, no, it is a basic check, and I think that it's a thing that's important. Ooh, there's a chest. It's a thing.
You're still playing. I love it.
All right. I'll stop.
You've been outed.
But yeah, no, it's important. It's an important thing to. Okay, I'm leaving. It's an important thing, right? It's an important thing. Is it fun? It seems obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious.
How many game teams have you been on where like it's taken forever to find the fun in your build?
It's
Most of them.
well, I have been very lucky, I think, to have worked with some really fantastic teams where they made that a priority.
Amazing.
So, you know,
Which it should be
right,
all the time.
right, absolutely. But I think that it's easy to get caught up in the cool features. You know, it's easy to get
shiny.
Yeah, to get caught up in the goals of this thing that you're going to implement, the shinies. And so the way you're approaching it, which is of course to start with your most basic, how do you go over here? How do you fight stuff? How do you, it is a good approach. I think that's, again, you need to be able to stop and go, was that actually fun? So.
Well, thank you so much, Jen, for your insights, your tanking, and your OP. Like, I mean, you helped us take down Kabalmat. That is a win in our category.
Frank gets all credit. I was watching. Frank gets credit.
Well, you both made a fantastic tank pair. And thank you so much for joining us live on stream. And thank you again, WoW, for like coming and helping out and like pushing forward this tiny little project that we have really big dreams for.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad I am, because this seems like a lot of, this is going to be great. Love this.
Yeah. All right. Well, friends who joined us, thank you for joining us, and catch us next week as we have new guests Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific. And in the meantime, have a phenomenal weekend, and I'm going to go get back to moving more boxes.
All right.
Bye, y'all. Happy Friday.
Bye.
Hit that button and buy a t-shirt with a dragon on it, and that will help us keep making some awesome games. Looks like this. I've already seen a Unleashed t-shirt out in the wild that I wasn't wearing, and I'm super excited about seeing more of them. So yeah, buy a t-shirt.